Welcome back. Well, the market is perched at 18,666 at the highest point of the trading session. So momentum built up there, though the broader markets are a tad bit underperforming because mid-cap index continues to languish in the green and small-cap index is toying between the red and the green. But let's welcome on board Mr. Manish Dapkara, the chairman and MD at AKI Energy Services Limited. Remember, the entire sector has been in focus. It's a fairly niche company and a fairly niche sector. But given the fact that IEX is now perhaps getting into carbon trading, it's getting into the spotlight as well. Manish, hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much for making time and speaking with us. First up, that's the question I wanted to ask you, that in terms of the overall business outlook, how are the things stacking up? Because if I have it right, you had a target of around 100 million credit in this year. Are you likely to meet that target?
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for having me at this talk. Yes, so during the first half, we were able to meet a target of around 40 million credits. And during this financial year, we are looking to achieve 100 to 110 million credits. And yes, we are definitely on track to meet the guidance that we have given during our earlier talks. And the other thing that you were talking about is related to the IEX, who is they are looking to open one voluntary carbon credit exchange. So this is the initiative that had been taken by almost various different exchanges, like Singapore Exchange. They have initiated the similar target, the similar. A voluntary carbon market exchange similar to that. London Stock Exchange is also trying to start the similar activity. Hong Kong Exchange. So various different exchanges are looking to offer this voluntary carbon credits to be bought by various corporates, not only in India but internationally, so that the corporates can meet their voluntary pledges to become net zero or carbon neutral. We are also looking to get closely work with all these different initiatives, so that we would be able to reach to various different buyers, not only in India, but across the globe.
Right. A very good afternoon to you, Manish. This is Cheryl also joining in the conversation. And let me ask about a JV that you have recently done with First Source Energy. If you could tell us what sort of projects you all are eyeing with this sort of a JV, and how will it benefit your company as a whole?
Yes, so with that specific joint venture company, we have two targets to achieve. One is the availability of the manpower. As you know, many projects are getting delayed, not only in India, but across the globe at various different stakeholders, which are there, like third-party inspection companies, like the registration or issuing bodies, with various different stakeholders who are there in the carbon credit industry. So we are looking to create a trained pool of resources, not only in India, but across the globe. So that is the first target we have. And the second target is to mobilize or to route around $5 billion fund, which used to get consumed for various different CSR activities in India. So around $3.5 billion is the expenses or the investments used to be done by various corporates, government, from the private sector, from the government sector in India for the CSR segment, and around $1.5 billion used to come from outside India. So we are targeting to mobilize that specific CSR fund to develop carbon credit oriented projects, like community-based projects. That means deployment of energy efficient cook stoves, deployment of energy efficient lighting, LED bulbs, deployment of water purifiers, so that communities will do emit less greenhouse gases. And so we would be able to deploy this specific fund for one is for the CSR activities, and another one is we can also claim carbon credits, so that that specific CSR fund will get increased on year-to-year basis, and so that the bigger activities can be done by those corporates. So these are the two activities we are targeting through that specific joint venture company.
So that was the JV that you have formulated. Just quickly, Manish, before we let you go, wanted to understand in terms of the business itself, the revenue profile in the quarter gone by was around 450 crore on the top line with the profitability of close to 100 crores. Is that the kind of revenue run rate and profit run rate should we expect? What's your annual target, let's say, for FY23 and 24?
Yes. So as I mentioned, we are targeting to deliver around 100 to 110 million credits during this financial year, and on year-to-year basis, we are targeting that 20% growth should be able to achieve during next year and thereafter also. So we have the internal inventory that we are executing, which is tuned to around 350 million credits for the projects originated from 16 nations, and definitely we our main target is to deliver those credits to the international voluntary markets, because as you know, the compliance markets are not there in place across the globe. Whatever the credits that are being originated from developing nations like India, Brazil, China are being consumed in the international voluntary markets. But we do foresee that once we have fully negotiated Article 6 of the Paris Agreement during Sharm el Sheikh, as you know, the COP27 that had happened at Egypt, Article 6, the complete negotiated drafts we were not able to get for our markets, but we do think during COP28, that means at UAE next year, we would be able to get the same. So the future growth of our market is very high with the introduction of international carbon markets to Article 6 and domestic carbon market within India through Energy Conservation Act 22. Yeah.
Absolutely right. It looks like the prospects are looking bright for EKI Energy going ahead. And on that note, actually, we'll let you go. Thank you so much, Manish, for joining us on the show, giving us a take on what's working well for EKI Energy, where you see it headed from here on, and where you look to diversify as well. That is Mr. Manish Dabkara, who is the chairman and MD at EKI Energy Services. But from one management to another,